It's Monday. It's the New Orleans Talk Network, and it's you and your credit. I'm your host, Remus Bowman, and today we're going to talk about your first impression. A good friend of mine who I expect to be on the show today by the name of George Russell coined a phrase that he shared with me years ago. And what he said was, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. What this clearly states is that when someone applies to a potential creditor for a loan and the creditor is evaluating their application, the information that's contained on the application gives them the impression, the original initial impression of your credit worthiness. Unfortunately, bad things happen to good people. Now, clearly what this means is that more often than not through life's road that we have good days and bad days. We are employed, then we're unemployed, we get sick, or a child gets sick, or a spouse gets sick, people pass away, and it causes a lot of tragedy, financial overextension in our life. So as a result of that financial extension, it's about how we handle the pressures that go on in our life on a daily basis. Everybody goes through these things. It's not that any one particular person is singled out. It's just the way you handle it. Can you handle the stress of overextension? And this happens sometimes where people become overextended, even if they have great financial worth or great income. It's all about managing. Sometimes we get sidetracked because of adversity, but it's about whether or not you manage your adversity and put your credit worthiness as a priority in your life. If you plan to fail, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Uh, a lot of times people will overextend on their credit cards. Now, what happens is when let's say, for example, you have a 500 or 1,000 or $5,000 credit card, and that credit card is in effect not is being paid on time, but only at the minimum balance. Now, what happens is the fees and the cost of the card to operate the card is going to make the card overextended. So if you had, let's say, for example, if you had $1,000 credit card, this might be a little easier to calculate for most of us. If you have $1,000 credit card and your limit is $1,000, and when you add the fees to that card, now you've used the extended amount of credit, which was $1,000, but your payment, let's say, is only $50 a month. So now, if you pay the $50 a month, then you're always going to be at $1,000. That does not represent a very positive way to the average lender for you to be at paying that card. If you want to get the full benefit of having a credit card, then you want to be at 30 to 35% of the maximum of the amount that your credit is extended. For example, if your credit, and this is the way that most lending institutions look at it. Let's say, for example, if you have $1,000 limit, they want you to be at between 250 and 350 and use and credit that you've actually used, giving them 65 to 75% of available credit. Now, if you fail to do that, then your credit score is going to plummet. It's going to be reduced based on your payment history. And you may pay the card every month. I had a lady come into the dealership a few days ago, actually. Now, Unfortunately, she would not take my advice, and I understand because largely we were faced with a lot of adversity, financial challenges. This particular lady's a friend of mine, and I become friends with people very rapidly. And she came in right after she got her income tax, and she said, "Mr. Bowman, I want to clear up my credit." This was last year. So we put her in a program. We cleaned all the negative things off her credit. So she was riding 650, 700 beacon scores. She was doing very well. Now, what happened was so many companies gave her a line of credit. So many credit card companies made themselves available to her. Now she's got 10 credit cards. I would not have advised her to do what she did because what happened is she's put herself in a situation and now she's struggling because she's used all those cards to she maxed them all out and now she's having to pay them, and now instead of a 700 or 650 beacon score, she's at 580 because she's only managing the cards. If she took the time to maybe get rid of several cards, because there's nobody that actually needs 10 credit cards, I think that the lending institution should have capped her out. Now, also, what happened is she went to a creditor that uh, she had done business with before, and they allowed her to put her personal items along with her automobile on a loan. Now, the bad thing about this, now that should have been a good idea, but the bad thing about this is the lender that she went to is a secondary lender. You know, there's what's known as a primary lender. Primary lenders are banks like Capital One, Chase, even Toyota Motor Credit or General Motors. Those are primary lenders. Then there's secondary lenders who charge higher interest rates, and they create all different types of ways that people can buy, that people can have have credit extended to them by including everything that they own in a loan. Now, the good thing about this is she didn't. The bad thing about this is she didn't listen to good advice. I would never have advised this person to put her automobile on a loan along with her personal or household goods, primarily because here's what happened. At the end of the day, the automobile that she has is more than 7 years old. The car has been giving her a lot of problems. So she's been forced to make loans to repair the car. And as a result, she's putting bad money into a good situation. Well, chasing money after in a car or putting money in a car that she should have traded out of long ago. I estimate the car to be worth between $1,500 and $2,000. This lady has a loan for almost $13,000. So that has been attributed to added to this automobile. So when a lender looked at her accounts last week or week before last, whenever it was that she came in, no one would give her credit, although here she is. She pays all her bills on time. She's overextended on all of her credit cards, and she has this $13,000 debt on an automobile that's worth $2,000. You see how unfair that is? But we do make bad decisions, and we allow ourselves to be put in situations that we can't come out of. So now this person is being forced to drive an automobile that has no air conditioning and runs bad. And she's stuck because she learned that that she can do better. Her life can be better with a good credit score than without. And now she's put herself in a bind. Now, the thing is that we cannot allow people to create scenarios that put us in situations that are not favorable to us. That's not a favorable situation when you attach a $13,000 loan onto something that's worth less than $2,000. There's no way she can trade the car in because she has what's known as negative equity, and she's stuck because she's learned to respect her credit, and she doesn't want to get rid of the car in an unfavorable way. So here she is with a limited income and about $15,000 worth of debt, and her income's less than $2,000 a month. No way, nobody's going to take her out of it. She's just going to have to bite the bullet. Even though she cleaned up all the negative information that was on her credit report, bad decisions will get you in, bad response. Uh, it's just about time for us to take our first break, and we're going to be right back.
Yo, this is Madman the Big Fan, one of the hosts from FanView on New Orleans Talk Network. Check us out on our new location, Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And remember, this is not a sports talk show. This is a talk show about sports. Make sure to tune in.
This is Belinda Parker Brown, President of Louisiana United International. I am the host for A Force for Justice. You can listen to us every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central, exposing the injustice in our criminal justice system. You can also call in at 504-341-8255 and tell us how you have become a victim in our criminal justice system.
On the New Orleans Talk Network, A Force for Justice with Belinda Parker Brown.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
This is Tanya Free. Democratic lawmakers staged a dramatic sit-in and protest on the House floor for more than 25 hours while pledging to continue to find ways to pressure Republicans to hold votes on gun control measures. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan characterized the sit-in as a publicity stunt and now a fundraising scheme. What's your take? Will the historic protest change the way Congress operates, or was this simply grand political theater?
Join Tanya Free and friends at TanyaFree.com. On air, online, and on point.
You wanted that phone, and the answer was no. You needed that car, and the answer was still no. Your family liked that apartment, but they said no again. They even turned you down for the job you were qualified for, all based on a bad credit report. Your credit can be restored. Call Bethesda Community Development Corporation at 504-348-0132. Don't allow a bad credit report to hold you back any longer. Call BCDC at 504-348-0132.
We're back. We have a caller. And how you doing today? Hello?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, man, this is George Russell with First Impressions Custom Clothes.
My man, George. Hey, George, I was just talking about that expression that you shared with me some years back.
Yes.
And, you know, the more I think about it, the more, no words could be truer. You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Hey, man, you know, I got that from a senator from Louisiana.
Oh,
We was
really?
flying back. We was flying back from LA, and he said, George, he said, I was raised in private school. I went to Ivy League school. I come back home to do my service as a judge, so I have to judge about what I see. He said, you give me two guys, same guy. One guy in khaki, the white shirt and tie. One guy with his pants pulled down, braids, and gold teeth. I'm going to make a different decision. Because my job as a judge is to make it whether or not that guy can go back to society and don't cause no trouble. See? So based on what I know, so you will never get a second chance to make a first impression. And speaking on that, I want to talk about your credit.
Yes.
Listen, a guy coming to buy a dealership, you hear the guy's story, you know the guy's personality, sometimes you even know the guy's family. Matter of fact, sometimes it's even family, right?
Yes.
So you know the guy, but the guy at the bank don't know this guy.
Right.
His first impression is your credit score.
Right.
That's it. Once he see your credit score, his decision is 85% made.
And you're right. Last week I had a couple come into the dealership, and I spoke with them when I originally ran their credit reports. There were like 400 beacon scores. So
Right.
my first reaction was to talk to them or to speak with them about cleaning up their credit. And initially, I had to, I'm very honest and open with people about where they are in the process. If you walk into my office and I look and see that you've got some problems, I'm gonna make sure that you know that you need to attend to this. You need to put this information you need to know this. Now, a lot of dealerships you go to, they don't have a guy like me who's gonna do that. So as a result, you kind of get treated with treated in a different manner. Because you get turned down and you have absolutely no idea what's going on. And so because you're treated in a different manner and you're treated with a long hair, long arm, uh, it kind of leaves a lot of people kind of wondering, well, where do I go next? Well, I can honestly say that I spoke with this customer about cleaning up their credit, getting the negative information off their credit report. And I did not anticipate that they were actually listening to me. I gave them a video to watch, and after I gave them this video to watch, while I was working, it took me 2 days to get them approved. While I was working on their account, the guy, so we finally got a lender that agreed to loan them some money, but they couldn't get the car that they originally wanted. They had to go back in and reestablish themselves as a credit-worthy customer. Now, I won't tell you, but they put down a significant amount of money, and 99% of all the lenders still declined to do business with them. I mean, it was crazy. And this person originally came in on a $20,000 automobile. They still ended up with a relatively new car, 2014, but only about financing about 12,000. But the fact of the matter is you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And
Hey, listen.
Most of the lenders denied them because of the
not cut you
score.
off, but I got a little history in the credit and the finance.
Absolutely.
Here's what really happened. What really happened.
Okay.
By them not contacting you, here's what really happened.
Mm-hmm.
They paid for the $20,000 car, but they left with the $12,000 car. What happened?
That's unfortunate, but it's true because the interest rates are through the roof.
That's what happened.
Absolutely. And the more I tell people, look, you can if you do this first, if you clean it up first, and then you come see me, now you can get value for your money. You know, let me ask you a question, George. Does high interest rates serve a purpose to the customer who's buying something?
Absolutely not.
There's absolutely nothing they can gain. The only entity that gains is the bank, because that's profit. That's
If I'm paying 0% and you paying 18, I mean every $100 you only have 82.
I'm telling you now. Every $100 that you're lending, that's being loaned.
Hey, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Pass the car deal. When you straighten your credit, it becomes your new first impression.
Right.
It becomes, now they use it as a character builder. Since
Right.
they don't know you,
right,
they're already tracking you by your zip code, right?
Right.
They know where you at. They know where you live.
Right.
And now your credit score is in place. Even if they want to give you a loan, you lose your power of negotiation.
It's
you can't say no, I want better. You can't demand better.
It's so
you lose your power.
It's so interesting that more often than not, people don't think about the fact that they need to know what's really going on so that they can negotiate.
If you get your credit straight,
mm-hmm.
and you get everything back down to the right interest rate you should be paying,
mm-hmm.
you almost got a free car.
Absolutely. Hard to believe, huh?
No.
Well, it's not for you and I because we know.
Which I can only judge your character by your credit score. I can do that. I can do that.
You know what's interesting about this? Because their credit score was a 400, even substandard or secondary lenders
too much
said below minimum standard.
Actually, now watch this now.
Yeah.
You got to watch the blessings.
Okay.
That was a blessing in disguise. He should have took that message right there and came straight to you and started preparing for his credit. He should have dropped the car for 90 days and wait to see what happens.
Well, here's the thing. They actually were not in a position to be able to do that because he had to be to work at like 5 o'clock in the morning and the wife went to work someplace else. So
there you go.
But here's what they did do. And I got to commend this person because we were able to get him financed. Right. So they bought the car. So I congratulated this customer on being able. I was sweating bricks because I'm normally pretty good at this, but helping somebody buy a car with a 400 beacon score is very difficult, George.
Very hard. Yeah, I'm in the business. My son's in the business.
So what happened is, at the end, when I was ready to walk him out to the new car, I got it washed and gassed it up and everything. The guy looks at me and I said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" He looks at me and tells me, he says, "I'm ready to get my credit score improved. I'm ready to go on a program." Because I worked so hard, my concentration was, number one, was making sure to help these people because they live quite a distance away. He was a fisherman. She was a nurse. She'd only been out of nursing school like 2 years. And as a result, I really wanted to help these people because, fishermen have to be on the water at a certain time before the sun comes up to start doing this thing. And that nurse had to be at work for 7 o'clock in the morning. So their schedules weren't even close. He's probably finished like 3 o'clock in the day, where she's probably just getting off at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, but once you sign up, it's all internet, right?
Sir? What'd you say?
Once they sign up, it's all internet.
Oh, hey, they done.
Hey,
they done.
Hey,
they're in.
Did they get started?
They got started. They
got guess
started.
What? The question today is, who's going to be next? who's going to work on getting that first impression started?
My brother, when I tell you,
check this out now. Check this out. My son is trying to put together his line of credit, right? He's 22. So I spotted him 25 G's for 90 days, right? So he goes to the bank, he put the money in the bank, he signed up for a $100,000 line of credit, and they gave it to him.
Wow.
We now listen now. We had prepared ourselves for the phone call, for the reference, for all the verification and everything, right? We set now. We set. But didn't even need it. You know why? His B score was 785.
Wow.
He automatic qualified.
Hey, and that's the thing. And that's the thing that most people don't understand is
this guy got no job.
I don't want to say his name, but he's a smart kid. He's a smart young man.
I think that's Russell.
He has a college degree. So when you
now I gotta get my 25 grand back.
when you plan to succeed, you can always do that. But he's well planned. He has a family and he has you who has taught him and you directing him. And a lot of times, and what people don't understand, give me 1 second.
The family, the friends who's listening to Mr. Remus Bowman, do me one favor. Do me one favor. Make him bag it up. Go give him a try. Just give him a shot. Give him that 90 days.
I'll
leave you my number. You contact me. I'll make sure you get him that 90 days.
I promise you, George. With 90 days in my program.
Let's go with facts. No promises, just facts. Give me 90 days and we'll see. I ain't got to say nothing. Give me 90 days.
100% money back guarantee by this company.
Come in and sign up on Remus Bowman 90-day challenge. 90-day challenge. If you don't get results in 90 days, 100% of your money go back.
100% money back guarantee. We got to take a break, George. I hope you'll stay. We're gonna finish up with Mr. George Russell, the owner of First Impression Custom Clothes in Houston, Texas. This man is doing well. He's raising his family well. They're doing great things out there in Houston. We will hope that you'll stick with us. We'll be right back.
What is New Orleans Talk Network? It's today's hottest topics with an added flair. You get ready because the conversation will be hot and better yet, mobile. Download the New Orleans Talk Network app available on Android, iPhone, iPad, and you can listen to us on the web at www.neworleanstalknetwork.com. Write down our talk line at 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255. Interactive and worldwide. That's what we are. Join in on the real conversation and tell a friend about the New Orleans Talk Network.
Hi, this is Jill Samuel with Faith That Works. Join us today as we allow the Word of God to change the lives of people by equipping the body of Christ to evangelize the world. I want to personally thank you for spending this hour with me and the body of Christ. Join us on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 12 p.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network. Your encouraging coach, Miss Jill.
Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero, always delivering the best food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's a reason why people keep returning to Wags. The food's always hot, great portions, and it's just down home good. Call ahead to order in advance at 504-348-3080. That's 504-348-3080. And let Larry know that you heard about Wags on the New Orleans Talk Network. Call him now. Wags Food and Culture at 1601 Plaza Drive in Marrero.
You wanted that phone, and the answer was no. You needed that car, and the answer was still no. Your family liked that apartment, but they said no again. They even turned you down for the job you were qualified for, all based on a bad credit report. Your credit can be restored. Call Bethesda Community Development Corporation at 504-348-0132. Don't allow a bad credit report to hold you back any longer. Call BCBC at 504-348-0132.
There are moments in life when we hesitate. Buying a home shouldn't be one. Markets are changing and interest rates are still low. Now is the time to make your move. At Rock Steady Realty, we are determined to find a home for you. We know the area, provide personal attention and more convenience. For all your residential and commercial needs, contact Willie Jones at Rock Steady Realty at 504-460-3819. Discover the Rock Steady difference.
We're back. This is the New Orleans Talk Network. The name of the show is You and Your Credit. I'm your host, Remus Bowman. And I have my very special friend, my special guest, Mr. George Russell, on the line. But before I get back to George is gone? All right. We've been speaking with George Russell, the owner of First Impressions Custom Clothes in Houston, Texas. He's a good friend. We've been friends for years. And one of the things that most people are intimidated about credit is that they fail to understand how credit score is actually determined. They also have a misunderstanding of the rules about credit. 75 to 80% of all the information that's contained on your credit report has flaws in it. There's opportunities to dispute and remove a lot of information that's contained on your credit report. However, it's a lot of things are determined by the language that's used when you're asking the credit bureaus to investigate the legitimacy of something that's contained in your credit report. A lot of times we don't, we become very intimidated by this information because we really don't know how the credit score is determined. Secondly, what happens is a lot of people will tell you, oh, you can get that off yourself. And that's correct. Those laws are intact to give you the opportunity to remove incorrect information from your credit report. However, most people are not going to do it. They may start out doing it. They may start out monitoring their credit accounts. And as a result, they just put it aside. But I found the most effective way to get a good credit score is to become a part of the company that I represent, which is called United Financial Services. They've been in business for 12 years. They have the best price for their product. They give you monitoring. They give you LifeLock. They remove incorrect information off your credit report. They give you a great product, and for very little money. You can start improving your credit score for just $87. If you'd like to get an evaluation on your credit report and you'd like to an opportunity to sit down and consult with me, I'm generally at my office over at Toyota of New Orleans in New Orleans East Monday through Saturday, from 9 o'clock until about 7 every day. Or you can contact me on my phone at 504-274-8117. Also, you can message me through Facebook. We have a Facebook account. It's Remus Bowman. We also have an account that I manage. It's called FES Credit Restoration. You can look at some of the testimony of some of my customers who have loaned themselves to helping you. Uh, Having a credit, your credit score is a very personal and private matter, and I understand that. So I've also had some people that I've been able to help get good credit, and once they got their credit score improved, they wanted no more conversations with me because they didn't want their information to be public, and I understand that. So it's a very private matter. We'll promise you, we will not tell anybody that you have been a customer of mine for credit restoration. That's up to you. That's your decision. If you'd like to tell someone to come by and see me, I'm here to help. I will say this. I had one lady that I've known for about 3 years, and I've been communicating with her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Come on, man, you need to do this. If you do this, it's going to change your life. And finally, I don't know, about 60 days, less than 60 days ago, she finally got in the program. And I told her, I said, here's what I'm going to do. If you're going to get in this program, you're going to do it for a year because you really need to. Your beacon score is really like a 400, 450. I said, you make a small fortune, you make a very good income, but here's what you need to do. I need you to pay me for the whole year. The whole year with my company is only $399. That's a gift, to remove all the negative information that she had on her credit report for $399. This is something that she's going to be able to benefit from for a lifetime, for the rest of her life. She's going to be able to develop an understanding of how that credit report actually work, how those credit scores are actually determined, how to change her future. A lot of times people get good credit scores by accident. In other words, you start out as a young person and you get one or two accounts and you're able to manage them, but as time goes on, and especially if you're going to college or have been to college, then you get the student loans that are showing up on your credit report, and you get all kinds of other things. Cox Cable is fantastic for doing that. Sprint's and other phone companies will put things on your credit report. There's a lot that's contained on these reports that you may or may not even know. But if you don't evaluate or have someone evaluate and help you, then you're going to be stuck. And being uninformed is not a good place to be, especially when the time comes that you actually need to purchase an automobile or you decide that it's time for you to buy a house. I've got people that have been in my program for less than a year that started out in the 4 to 450 range. One lady's actually bought a house about 6 weeks ago. She's very proud of her new home, and unfortunately, I don't hear from her anymore. She's very happy. She's got a brand new car, new home. She's living good. She has no reasons to call me except to send me customers, and she's done that, and I appreciate her. If you'll go to my Facebook page, you'll be able to see information that will give you an idea on how to make a good decision. $87 a month. January 1st is coming along again, as it always does, in the next 5 months or so. You might want to consider this. In about 5 months, your income tax, it'll be time for your income tax to come in. And a lot of people walk in. I work at, by the way, I have an office over at Toyota of New Orleans. I've been there for about 5 years. And I was salesman of the year the last 2 years. Just based on the fact that I've helped people in very difficult situations to obtain automobiles and put them on the track to buy houses and the whole 9 yards. But here's what I want to say. If you have questions about your credit score, or how to improve your credit, I don't charge anything for you to stop by and counsel with me. just ask for Remus Bowman. Just tell the lady at the receptionist desk, I want to see the guy that does the credit, even if you forget my name. Or my name's Remus Bowman. You can pull it up on Facebook and you'll get additional information. Or you can call me, 504-274-8117. Remus Bowman. I'm the guy that does a lot of things to help the community because I realize that 75 to 80% of America has less than a good credit score. Now, here's the thing that that most people aren't aware of. That's largely information that you can improve. You don't have to be in that situation. It's when we talk about credit worthiness, now think about it. If there are laws that are already on the books, we talk about Congress and they're not doing anything and all the, a lot of adverse things about Congress. But in our past congressional situation, a lot of laws have been enacted that give us an opportunity to improve our credit score. This country is based on credit. If you can't buy anything, then manufacturers go out of business, banks go out of business. It's a part of the fiber of this whole of the whole world. The one thing that happened as a result of the thing that happened in Britain last week is that the interest rates went down. As a result of interest rates, not interest rates, excuse me, the Dow Jones went down. They lost a ton of money on stocks and bonds. As a result, they're saying that we may be headed for another depression. We have another call on the line. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing absolutely marvelous.
I thought you were gone.
I'm back.
Oh, Georgie Podge is back.
I'm back, baby.
Hey, George, we only have just about 10 minutes left left in the show, and I'd appreciate if you give some words of wisdom to my clientele, to my customers here.
Listen, it's not rocket science.
It really isn't.
Listen. The new form of depressing people is their credit. Do you realize that your insurance is higher? So if you take a look at the money you spend, your money costs you more. You make less, but your money is less. Don't make no sense.
Yeah.
Maybe your job won't give you a raise, but if I'm paying 2.9 instead of 18, I just gave myself a raise.
Absolutely.
It's just that simple.
It's just that simple.
It's kind of like you ain't gotta invest 20 grand to get started. You just get started.
$87, George.
Hey man, it's not a 20 grand deal.
It's not
20
expensive.
grand deal, save your coins and do it anyway. If it was 20,000, you should do it.
You're absolutely right. It is like giving yourself a raise. I had a lady that came into the dealership about a month or so ago. Excuse me, it may have been 2 months. And she wanted to refinance a car. She had been, a lot of times when people come in to go into dealerships, the dealership will tell them, look, keep this car for 6 months to a year, come back and refinance it. Well, here's the problem you have. If you got 10 plus a lot of different negative information on your credit report, and you put one good account on there, it's not going to improve your credit score. I'm sorry. What you got to do is you got to get the negative, as much negative stuff removed as possible.
I was the person on the other end of the phone. They tell you that so you can go away quietly.
Yeah.
It won't happen.
It just won't. That's
you
like
do some people.
Huh? That's like
you have to do something.
Yeah, that's like throwing a pebble in the ocean. That's like throwing a pebble in the ocean, man. I've had people with as many as 39 and 40 different collection accounts on their credit report. Now, how is one good thing on your credit report going to help you. It's not going to happen. What you have to do is you have to pare it down, try to get as much of the negative information removed from your credit report so that that one good account can see the light of day. You know, it's like you ever walk out and see weeds in your yard. The weeds grow faster than the real grass. So eventually, what happens is you can't even see your grass. You can't see the good grass because it's overcome by weeds. And it's the same situation with adverse information on your credit report. If you have a lot of weeds on your credit report, then that one account is never going to get to say the light of day. But anyway, just to finish up what I was saying, the lady eventually she told me, she said, Mr. Remus, she said, I'm waiting on this money from this lawsuit. So when this money comes in, I'm coming in and I'm going to pay for the whole year, and I'm going to clean up my credit because I want to reduce the amount that I'm paying on this car. She eventually came in, we got it started, and all is right with the world. She's well on the track to getting a good credit score. The other person that I was talking about, she had 9 things come off her account, off her credit report within the first 30 days. So I got a phone call last week from one of our coworkers. She said, I heard that you perform miracles. No, I don't. I'm not Jesus. But here's what you do. If you just follow the instructions, let us do the work, we'll get you where you want to be. But you have to start first. So today at 6:00, I'm expecting her at my office over at Toyota. But the fact of the matter is, and then she went on to tell me that she had recently bought a car from one of my coworkers about 3 months ago. I said, well, why didn't he tell you then to come talk to me? And I'd like to tell, I tell my guys, my coworkers, look, man, we could really help these people because I've seen so many situations where you're so hard pressed to get a person in an automobile that, that they
that's
can't
why
get a warranty.
That's why they should buy the car from you. Now it's hard from a salesman to turn his client over to a better salesman.
Well, that's true.
Makes sense.
I understand that.
It's hard for them to do that. It's hard for them to do that. So the people, you should go to you first.
I realize that. I realize that, but I'm not a very selfish person. And I'd prefer to try to help my guys learn more so they can be in a better position to make suggestions to a customer. Sometimes, it's a different, I live at a different level and on a different philosophy. I'm not a very selfish, self-oriented person. So, because I think that the more people we help, then the more people can do things. It's better for our overall situation, especially in the minority community, in the urban community, where a lot of people have been affected more than other areas by by poor credit scores, losing jobs and that kind of thing. Back in 2010, a situation happened to me with the oil spill, and I actually became unemployed for a length of time. This can happen. It doesn't really matter what your skill level is. I had a lady that stopped by the dealership last week. Her daughter had graduated from college. She's a pharmacist, but she wants to move to Houston. And I think I mentioned this to you. I called you last week and told you about it. And so it takes several weeks before Houston would allow her to take her exams to become licensed in that state. So that meant that she was going to be unemployed, even though she's graduated from pharmacy school. She was going to be unemployed for a certain length of time. All kinds of things happen in people's lives that make it, sometimes it's smooth, but more often than not, it's this thing called life. It's a rough and rugged road. And you got to keep your eyes open. Don't get caught slipping. Pay attention to everything that's going on and use the remedies that are available to you. And one remedy that is available to everyone is to improve the ability to improve your credit score. And that's why there's so many companies out there that are soliciting business. But I can tell you this: if you think a credit union, excuse me, a credit reporting agency is going to help you to remove information off your credit score when it's their business to put out adverse information, I question that for whole philosophy. It's just a way of generating additional revenue and take having people assume that they're going to do something that they're actually not going to do. Just hey, give me another $20 a month. Let's see if we can. And a lot of people assume that credit reporting agencies are not for profit, or that they're credit reporting agencies are an extension of the United States government. They are not. They're businesses, and they're owned by people like Donald Trump. So let's think about give full thoughts of who we put our trust in, and and just whether or not they're really in it to help you to overcome your situation with bad credit, because a lot of these people have uh, other businesses that capitalize off people with bad credit by charging them higher interest rates, and they're not taking any more risk on a person with higher interest rates than they are anyone else, because guess what? After 31 days, especially in the state of Louisiana, on that 31st day, a creditor has the legal right to show up at your house and repossess your automobile, no matter what your credit score is. So you're under the same laws that the person with good credit is, as anyone else. Anything can happen if you don't play by the rules, or if you fall behind. So they don't have a greater potential, even though they like to say that they do, of taking a loss, but your history has not proved that you're worthy of a low credit score. That's the end of our show. We've had a great conversation with Mr. George Russell of First Impression Custom Clothes in Houston, Texas. I hope that you've benefited from the information that we've shared, and we'd like to uh, be here. We'll be back next Monday at 12 o'clock. This is Remus Bowman, you and your credit on the New Orleans Talk Network.